Here with Mike Manci, Nick Paone. What's going on, guys?
What's happening?
What's up, Cora? Happy to be here.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
fired up. So thinking about doing a little more golf talk on the pod. Potentially, might be a spinoff here. Give it a go here as a pilot. But these two wealth of knowledge in the golf world and kind of living some cool experiences. So just wanted to kind of talk about some of the golf travels that they've been doing, and specifically Oakmont this week coming up. Hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, Oakmont's going on, so maybe you could catch it on a Friday during work or something. These guys have played there before and are actually going back this week, so I'll open up there. Let's start Oakmont. What you guys got?
Yeah, we've been extremely lucky, I guess
That would be the word. Yeah. Pretty fortunate. Friends of friends, and just been invited a few times. We're very thankful to be always going out there. The place is unbelievable. It's a national historic landmark, so like just stepping on the property is cool. Mm-hmm. And then actually getting out there and playing the course is just unbelievable. I mean, for me, it was like you think about the history of the people that have played there, and like you walk through the same locker rooms that they were walking in, like sitting in the same chairs as that. That's, to me, is the coolest part about it.
My, what do you want to call it, aha moment was the first time we walked into the locker room and they have the scoreboards from all the prior U.S. Opens. The actual scoreboard,
like the handwritten ones, yeah. Like it's just so cool to see. Like, hey, this is they were actually writing it at this time. It's awesome to see. And then, you go in the locker room and they have like the wooden benches that still have the metal spike marks from like the 1904 when the place opened. Like it's the coolest. In terms of history, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, it's neat that there's that much stuff left unchanged, and they keep it historical like that for guys like you to go and experience. And even, I'm sure, golfers going in for the first time as well, like they step in there and it kind of is like hollowed ground to an extent.
I mean, they have like, you can just take a tour of the property. Like if you're playing there, you can just say, hey, I want to tour this historic landmark, and they'll take you through the clubhouse because it's just so.
It's comparable to walking through a museum. If you've ever been to a museum, it's comparable to that, between the trophies and the pictures and just the general history of the property. For a golf junkie like me and this guy, it's a home run.
Yep.
It is. Seeing Johnny Miller's 63, that was actually written. It was the scorecard, the 63 scorecard, like on the wall. Like I'm walking to take a shower and I'm like, oh, there's Johnny Miller 63. It's like,
of course, right? Like, U.S. Open record that is still not touched.
Right.
It's insane.
That was.
And this is what going to be the 10th U.S. Open there?
Yes, their 10th one. So they've held more USGA championships than any golf course. And like the knock with them, or not the knock, but like they always say that you can host a U.S. Open at Oakmont. You give them like a week's worth of advance and they'll let the rough grow, but they keep it in that condition pretty much like all the time. I mean, that's what they'll amp it up a little bit for the US Open. Like they talked about growing the rough a little bit higher, but other than that, I mean, it's pretty much how we play it on a regular basis.
Correct.
Other than the grandstands being up, but
yeah. And the course itself, it's, I struggle to play golf there, as he knows. It's just perfect, and it's very hard for me to play golf on a perfect golf course.
The margin of error is so small. Like you're hitting off of just fairways that are so shaven that you miss it by just a little bit, and it amplifies it by that much.
Yeah,
right. I think the average golfer takes a look at this. We'll see that course on TV and be like, oh wow. I mean, that's. It's got to be awesome to play on, and it is, believe me. But it is mentally tough because the lies are so tight. And like Nick just said, if you're not perfect, if you're not a high level ball striker, you're going to struggle. And I am not a high level ball striker by any stretch of the imagination, so I struggle there.
What and like I don't know if I could be wrong here, but like the average fairway width is like 14 yards or 17 yards or something like that.
The weirdest part about it is like they seem so wide when you're out. Like when you're standing in the fairway, you're like, all right, this seems so like you can hit it here. But also the fairways are so firm that like no matter where you're landing them, they're funneling to a certain area. And you'll see the undulations, like there's collection areas that they go to. When we just played, they had areas roped off just because they didn't want to have all these divots from everybody playing. But like that's where all the balls kind of like funnel to. So they know like where the certain areas are going to be. But then the fairways pinch in right at the spots where you're going to land. So like every single time where our balls are going to be landing in the fairway, there's deep bunkers that are like they're perfectly placed. Like it was just the perfect design of where the balls are going to land. They present all the trouble to you. If you hit a good shot, like if you're hitting from the fairway there, it's, I'm not going to say it's doable, but it's a lot easier. Like you can score. You'll see guys that are hitting the fairway that will score, but the margin of error is so tight there that I've hit so many good shots where you're like, oh yeah, it's just going to be in the left fairway. And then you get up there and it's like, oh, you caught the edge of this bunker and you can't even really play the shot.
It's an angles game out there. It is. I mean, you can get into certain spots where you're done. I mean, you are done. And it goes back to the mental side of it, because let's say you're 10 is a good example. If they can put that pin over on the right side of that green and you're coming in from the right side of that fairway or the rough, it's impossible. If I was going this weekend, if anybody is that's listening, I would go to 10 and just sit somewhere around the green on 10 and see how they play that hole, because I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't. I've had conversations with, Jake and whoever about how are they going to play that hole, so.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of holes that it's just like, we're going to dump it in the middle of the green here and try to two-putt. But the thing is, those greens, they just did a major expansion on them, like a renovation. They got so big that you can be hitting greens all day and just be looking at 60, 70 footers that are like over undulations and, breaking 10, 15 feet.
Yeah.
And if you're not matching the line and the speed, you get embarrassed pretty quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you're talking about hitting fairways, which is nice, but you get the ball in the rough. We've been fortunate enough, like we said, to play it a few times.
I was just going to ask, how many times did you guys play it?
That's a good question.
I'm close to 30 times.
Oh, shoot, really?
Right now.
Yeah, I'm probably, geez, sorry. 12, I would say 12 times,
yeah.
12, 14
I
times.
didn't know if it was like 2, 3, 4 or that many. So obviously,
Usually
awesome.
usually we'll go out and we'll play 2 rounds. Like we've been fortunate enough, we stay on the property. So like that's another experience in itself. But usually go out, we'll play one day and then play the following morning and then head back.
That's awesome.
Just going to past experiences, the rough has been bad. But we were just out there 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. Yeah. And the rough is like nothing I've ever seen.
Really? They're leaving like 5 inches.
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is, so they're leaving it 5 inches, but like if you let your grass grow to 5 inches, it's just going to fold over on itself. So they're cutting it at 5 inches every day so that it stands straight up. Right. So they're like just standing it straight up, and when you toss a ball in there, it just goes straight down. I mean,
we heard rumors of what it was going to be, and then you, like Nick just said, you kind of go out in your front yard or you go to your local golf course and you find a really rough spot and you say, oh, this is going to be it. I can't explain what it is.
It's just standing straight up, like the ball just goes down. Right. I mean, we were just taking pictures, like some of the pictures we put up were just of our lives, because they're like, how are you supposed to hit this shot, number one? And like we had caddies out there and they're out in the fairway and they're like, it landed somewhere in this area of the rough, we just can't see it, and you literally have to look straight down at your feet and walk around until you see the ball.
As soon as you found it, the caddy would just hand you your 60 degree and say, okay,
just pop it back out to the fairway. Crazy, because you're not advancing it very far out of here.
No, and there was maybe 2 times where in the beginning of the round where I tried to advance it and he's laughing at me, and then I either shanked it or I just hit it 10 yards in front of me into the rough again.
And then you got to do it again.
Yeah. So we started to take their advice very quickly.
I mean, we knew going into it, obviously, and I think anybody that will ever play there, it knows that it's notably known as the toughest course in the world. So like you're gonna get beat up there. If you string together a few pars, you feel like a superhuman.
The birdies they felt like gold.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 2, maybe. I think I had 2 in 2 days. I felt,
it's impressive.
Yeah, it's like shocking that like you look back at it and be like, wow, I can't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be watching the U.S. Open and be like, yep, I made birdie there.
No big deal.
Trade that right now. There's a lot of guys that be signing up for that. I'm like, yep, made the birdie there.
I know, because like again, and like I kind of told you guys, like I'm falling in love with golf. Like I'm getting the itch, obviously, but like I don't admittedly watch a ton of golf. So like when I'm like, just to kind of learn a bit more, like going into this podcast, I told you guys I was watching Bryson's video, and like the fact that par might win the U.S. It's crazy. It's just crazy.
I mean, if they don't get any rain, and that place stays firm, it's so difficult coming into when you're trying to land into the greens because a lot of them are pitched from the front to the back. So now you're coming off of either the rough, which is going to be impossible. There's not going to be any spin on the ball, so it's just going to take off. Or you're coming in with a shot that is landing on, I mean, they can get them as dry as they want them, and it makes it so much more difficult to actually get the ball close to the hole. So now you're just, birdies are far between, and you're just playing a scramble game, but I think that's what makes it fun. I mean, that's in my mind, that's what a U.S. Open it should be.
It's going to test everything. It is. It's, I was telling Dalton on the way down, like, if you don't have full confidence in your game, you're going to get exposed. Every single shot you have to pay attention to. I mean, you just have to fully commit to every single shot. And if you don't, it just jumps up and grabs you. And then when it does, coming back from that mentally, at least for me, is impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
The
you're looking at the next hole and you're like, yeah, cool, it's getting harder.
It's just like, doesn't get any easier, and we have 17 more to go. Yeah, the other thing is too is you'll have some shots where it's like, all right, it'll be 150 yards, and then they'll be like, but you have to land it 110 yards, and you're like, okay, well, how does that work out? And to actually trust it mentally to be like, all right, I'm going to hit this 10-yard shot, and it's going to roll out to 140, and then it does, and you're like, I mean, it's you have a caddy out there, and without them, I don't know how guys would manage to get around there, because I would just be normally, hey, I'm going to get whatever my number is, land it around that number, but like you can't, because if you do that, you're done. You're going to have a long day.
Yeah. It's going to be cool to watch it.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch now because, like, obviously hearing your guys' stories now and learning a bit more about the course, I'm definitely excited to watch.
I mean, Pennsylvania, it's awesome to have.
Where is it? Like near Pittsburgh, kind of?
Yep.
Yeah. So what is it? Plum
Township. Yeah, just like 15 minutes outside the city.
Oh, nice.
It's a hilly property.
Yeah, it's a walk.
The guys that we went out with last time, walking through the rough for 2 days. We got home and I thought it was me. I didn't say anything. I was kind of embarrassed, but I felt like I'd broken my back. Like I couldn't walk.
Yeah, I mean, it's about 8. I think we did 8 miles both days.
Yeah, but
I just put the phone in my pocket and I was just walking around. I'm like, let me see. But again, it's also physically taxing because that rough, it's like walking through a foot of snow. So they're basically like, stay in the fairways, don't walk in the rough. It's going to make it much longer of a day. But yeah, I mean, you're
hitting it in the rough and
gassed.
It's impossible not to walk in the rough. So maybe that was my issue. But they widened there's the paths from the tee boxes to the fairways. They shave them down a little bit, right? So you're not constantly walking through the rough. They widened those, and the caddies were.
You gotta stay in those.
Gotta stay in those, and I'm like, it's just grass. You know what I mean? It's like, just stay in them. And I didn't listen. And when I got home,
we were feeling it for days after that.
Yeah. That is wild to think about because like playing that many days in a row, they're like obviously like the mental warfare that you guys mentioned that they're going to go on, but like to be that physically taxing on your body as well, and obviously they're playing tons of golf all the time. But like, and they're the best athletes in the world in regards to the golf game, but like. It is what it is. I mean, if you're walking 8-9 miles a day, you're going to be tired at the end of the day. So it's interesting to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, and they're going to be. I mean, they're going in playing practice rounds. So then, now they're playing the practice rounds, and then I think that just you hit a bad shot here or there. Then does that creep up when you're trying to hit the shot actually during the tournament? Right. But yeah, so they're playing They're playing more rounds. I mean, they could play 6 rounds next week.
And if you're looking for a winner of this thing, I would be probably leaning towards a guy that's physically fit. Now, the majority of them are these days, right? But after playing it recently, yes, somebody that's physically fit that's going to be able to walk this thing, 4 days in a row with not feeling effects of it every night. You know what I mean?
Yep. So, this would be a tough one for Tiger to get around.
Right now, yeah.
Right now, yeah. I mean, if he was minus the Achilles, if he was just back with with this regular back, I think it's
take it so
to that point. Somebody that's going to hit fairways.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I thought it was really interesting. I mean, I went to the tournament. The last time they had it was in 2016, so I was out there for the tournament, and looking back at the leaderboard and seeing like where everybody finished, there was a lot of names up there that I thought were not your normal contenders. Just
Like, it
guys
lends
that
itself
hit
to
the ball straight. You know what I mean?
yeah,
This guy's
certain
like
styles of
Jim
golf.
Furyk came in second. He was probably near his 50s, right, at that time.
Yeah, but what did he do? I mean, he was fairways and greens guy.
He just drove it straight, hit the fairways, you know, took his putts, and then played it mentally smart. So you're going to see guys that are playing it just, you know, smart. But
I don't see it being under par at
No.
all. I would guesstimate the winner is going to be anywhere from +2 to +6.
Wow.
Just in
well, yeah, what was plus
I
5?
think, yeah, when he won it.
Yeah, plus 5 1. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Crazy.
And I think
I'd be curious to see what the weather's going to be out there next week.
it looks.
There's a couple days that it's going to be like scorching. I think Friday is going to be in the mid 80s, so like that's going to really bake that place out. There's chance of rain, I think, on the weekends, but
Right.
Thursday, Friday, 84 both days.
There you go.
82
yeah,
Saturday,
that's going to
76.
yeah. I mean, you're going to see a
yeah.
plus number at the cut, no doubt.
Friday afternoon will be
Damn.
fun.
Yeah, yeah, you would.
Who do you like?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, who, knowing what you guys know about the course and different styles of golf, who do you guys like?
I mean, you know, I like Corey Connors. I think that's a name that nobody's going to talk about.
You've been on him for a little bit of time now.
I've been on him for a little while, yeah, which means don't.
I mean, he has a perfect game for it. It's straight. I mean, my only reserve with him is always like short game,
Putting.
and putting. But
If he could find a hot putter, there's a chance he's going to win the thing.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. You know, him and like Russell Henley would be my other.
yeah, you like Russell
And
Henley.
he's having a great year.
He is having a great year.
He's playing great. He had a win, and what does he do? He hits fairways, he hits greens, and he putts. So, you know.
I want to see the odds on these guys.
Might have
He's
to
going
pull 'em
deep.
up.
Take a look.
Mike,
Take a look.
Pull that. You could pull it like this. Yeah. Just
Okay.
keep it. No, you're good. I'll pull them up while you guys are chatting through.
Those would be my two. No advice here, obviously. This is my
Right. Yeah.
guys. If I'm picking a winner of the thing, that's two guys I would look at. You know, I don't know if Rory has the form at the moment.
I thought about that today. I mean, if he gets that where he's, you know, doing his peacock walk and he's hitting the driver where he can basically drop it in the fairway, then there's a chance.
Right.
But same thing. I mean, you saw at Pinehurst when he was missing 3-4 footers because they had some movement to them. You're definitely going to see that again.
Yeah.
So it's going to be somebody that is sharp on those.
I mean, just like pretty much every major, the guy who's leading in putting is probably going to win the tournament. You know what I mean? So if Connors catches a hot putter, he's going to be there. That's my.
Yeah, I like it.
We'll call it a prediction.
Yeah, I don't really have any. I mean, if I'm going with somebody, is it going to be Scotty versus the field? I mean, is that what we're talking about?
I don't know how you don't.
Scotty's plus 430.
Yeah. He's almost got the Tiger effect right now. I mean, if you don't like him, there's, you know what I mean.
Russell Henley plus 5,000.
There we go.
Bingo.
Corey Connors plus 6,500.
There we go.
Good bets.
Put $1 on.
Like, I have to now. I had no
doubt.
intentions of betting.
I can't wait.
And
For,
now,
I
mean,
can't
I have
wait for
to
one of
now.
those guys to win.
You're gonna look like a genius, or
Yeah, people coming after me. Yeah, so it's you guys are gonna enjoy it. It's incredible, and it's perfect right now. I mean, it's absolutely. I've never seen a more perfect golf.
I mean, yeah, the place is just, in terms of visuals, it's just jaw dropping, and I think that's why we had so many pictures on our phone. Like that's how, again, this whole our page started.
oh yeah, let's drop the handle. What's the
Yeah,
handle
so
of
it's
the page?
at SBGP 18.
There you go. SBGP.
So we just started compiling a lot of our photos that we had, and Mike and I had a conversation. We love playing at these golf courses, and we talked about it before. Is that like a lot of times I'm either taking pictures to remember the holes, or to show my friends or my family and say, hey, look at this hole. But we just had a lot of photos of just cool properties. And then when we look back at them, we're like, hey, these are actually really good pictures. So, we're just going to continue to keep sharing like places that we play. And it's not just, we play all over the place. It's not just that we're playing, we're fortunate to be invited to play Oakmont. Yeah. It's not like we're playing there all the time. So we play locally, we go on trips. So we're just going to keep featuring some cool shots and see what.
We hope to get some content going, with some local guys that you may know. You know what I mean? Some of Corey's guys here, maybe, right?
Yeah,
Some
get
of
the
our
boys
guys.
out.
And, get some content going on there from some of these places, maybe. Because listen, a lot of these places we go to are a ton of fun.
Yep.
So just to kind of bring that to life too, I think it'll be enjoyable. So.
Yeah, I think you guys could have a real cool dynamic there where we were chatting earlier. It's like a balance between sharing these unique opportunities that you guys are afforded with, and you get a peek behind the curtain that a lot of people don't get to see. Like, granted, there's the YouTubers out there now doing it, so like you get to see some things, but like to see guys from the local area going to play these like the best of the best courses in the world, or at the very least in the U.S., and then also like the following weekend you could be at Sleepy or Panorama or Wemberly or wherever, locally, or Scranton Country Club. I think it's and like you could share. It's a nice comparison where you're like, hey, like you could compare one of the toughest holes at Scranton Country Club. Like, how does that compare to this hole at Oakmont or whatever it is? I think it's going to be a cool dynamic. I think a lot of people would be interested. Just talking about like the golf boom, obviously. So maybe we take a step back. So Mike previously owned Wemberly Golf Course up in Scott Township. No longer does, but was it how long did you own it for?
It was better part of a decade.
Yeah,
It's
a good run.
Some really good times. And from a golf standpoint, my golf game struggled because of it. But my love for the game, passion for the game was definitely brought up also because of it. Learned a lot about the industry. Not only the golf industry, the hospitality industry. Met some really, really cool people. Had some really, really good people surrounding me at the place. And I think we did a pretty good job there.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. I mean, I had played it when I was younger, and then to see him kind of come in and kind of take it under his wing, and then putting the simulators in, which was something that was huge for the area because, to be honest, not many people had him at that time. You know what I mean? He was one of the first in the area to say, hey, we're going to put in some simulators because, I mean, it's a seasonal sport here, right? I mean, we get a limited amount of time.
Simulator, like, I mean, like just throwing it in there to try and make some extra money. It's like, if we're gonna do it, like you put in the best of the best.
Yeah, we went with TrackMan. Right off the bat. I think there was only maybe one place I think there was a spot in Wilkesboro that had it at the time, but it was still new to folks. And I can remember putting them in, and I think I tell Jeff all the time, but I think Jeff was the first one to hit on it. And he was like looking at the video, and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, yeah, man, it takes a video of your swing. And you know what I mean?
So cool.
It is cool.
Yeah. So
to be able to have something like that where we can just, we played in, he had a league up there. So we were playing in the league up there throughout the winter. So you're just like, even just being in the motion, because if you take, a couple months off, it's going to take a little bit of time to get back to where you want to be. So just by doing it and, playing, even if it was once a week, just get your body moving. And
right. That was cool. I mean, that was cool to bring to the area. And, going back to our conversations about the courses we get to play, we couldn't replicate, let's say the quality of Oakmont or whatever, but it was cool to bring fescue back.
Put your own little spin on it.
Yeah, right. Like we'd go play a place, I don't know, like the Dormy or something like that's got fescue everywhere, right? And I would say to Dan, like, hey, I think we could do this on this hole or that hole, right? And we would bring that piece back. So we'd go out and play these places and then find little pieces that really intrigued us and stayed with us and try to bring that, home. So that was very cool. I mean, it was very cool to have a course, and it was like your own little, what do you want to call it?
Yeah, there's not many people that will say.
Pad, you know what I mean? It was neat. It was. And again, I had a really good team of people around me. Guys that worked tirelessly to make sure that place was in great shape, because we had high standards too. That's another product of going out and playing these places. We had high standards for what a golf course should be. So we wanted it to be, I always wanted, if you came in and you handed me, let's say it was $20 for a round of golf, I wanted you to say, you know what, this place deserves that.
Worth it.
Worth it. Yeah. And that's all I ever wanted for the place. And, I think we had gotten it there. So,
And I could personally speak to it. Like, I only started golfing like 2-3 years ago, really. And not knowing any better, like never playing even nice courses. And then like you get invited to a country club here or there around here. Somebody has an extra pass or whatever for the day. And then like you go back to Wemberly and it's like not that much different. And it's like, I always appreciated number one, the hospitality, the crew, everybody that was there.
Yep.
It was like a learning ground for me. Even like Kelly took me up there before I really started. He took me up in the winter. Yep. So it was like, when we finally get out then in April, like I'm not brand new. It was like I had some swings in. I got some tips from him. So like having the simulator there in the winter was awesome, just to like get the wheels turning a little before you get out there and embarrass yourself inevitably in front of all your boys. But like it was, I mean, for me, especially like from where I'm living right now, home court, like it's like my first spot I run up to all the time and play. So it was awesome, and definitely miss having you guys up there, but
I certainly miss it too for certain aspects.
I'm sure it's there's a lot of things you're happy to pass the torch on, though. I'm sure
my daughter's extremely happy right now that I can get up and play with her. She's taking up the game too, which is kind of cool.
That's awesome.
And I know Nick's daughters are as well. That's a really cool aspect of this too. Getting to share our love with them and actually seeing them enjoy it is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's one of the best parts about it, because like you can play with anybody of any skill level and still have a good time. I mean, you're outside, you're listening to music.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're having a great time. I mean, even if I wasn't playing good golf or whoever I was with, as long as you're with good company, I mean, that's all that kind of matters. So
yeah, it's golf. I think that's the
you can play it. No matter where you're playing, it's still just a good old time being outside.
To Corey's point about playing a place like Oakmont and then coming back and playing a local public course doesn't matter to me.
No, it doesn't matter to me either.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, there's people. I mean, there may be people out there that wouldn't do that transition, but I loved it. I loved my favorite nights at Wemberly were Thursday nights when I would go out and play in league. And like Nick said, turn the music up. And just have a great night. Like,
at that point, nobody really cares what you're shooting. It's just having a good time. You get some laughs out there with some good shots, bad shots, but
yeah, it's nice to get that run in every once in a while, because like obviously everybody's always trying to get better. Everybody wants to play their own ball, but like there is a time and place for a scramble where it's just so fun. You're playing like carefree golf, and sometimes you end up playing better because you're not in between your ears. And
I love playing in the scrambles. It's so much fun to me. And then cheering, because there's golf's a singular sport really. So to have that little like, hey, we're all uniting as a team, like high fiving after making putts and cheering for everybody. I love playing in those.
Yeah. And speaking to the local courses, like I grew up, I wasn't a country club kid.
Same.
I grew up playing Shadowbrook. I grew up playing Wemberly. I grew up playing Summit Hills, Stonehenge from time to time, right? And I'm glad I did. I really am, because I can appreciate where I get to go these days that much more.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like I'm a member at some places now that I'd never even I caddied at places that I'm a member at now. You know what I mean? When I was a young kid, I caddied at Scranton. 2 loops a day, right? Double bag. And back then, I was like, this is something that I'll never see, So, I was out with him the other night, and I said to him, I still get like goosebumps playing here because of where I was, whenever, right? Like I can remember carrying a bag on this hole and handing a guy a club or talking about this or that, right? And now like you're playing there. It's a pretty cool dynamic.
Yeah, and that's probably why you guys could both like keep that level of gratitude where it's like, you, to your point, like you get to go play Oakmont or these awesome places, and then you come back 3 days later and play a course around here, and it's still just as fun for you. Like you don't have your nose up in the air. It's like this place, like they don't take care of this, or it's not challenging enough for you guys. This and that and the other thing. That's like, as cliche as it is, like the destination is the journey. Like as you hear it all the time, and it's overdone and oversaid, but it gives you that level of appreciation on the back end where it's like, if the bar is set here when you're 10 years old, it's like, well, how fun is life going to be when you're 40 or whatever? It's like, so it's interesting. But I think just to circle back to like how we kind of started talking about you owning the golf course, I think talking about the golf industry as a whole and the boom that you guys saw and everybody experiences, whether it was during COVID or whatever it was, the Tiger Rise, I think I would be interested, just because you guys have been doing a lot longer, get your impressions on all that.
I mean, I played in high school not very well. You know, I mean, awful actually. I don't think I ever started a match up at the Muni. You know what I mean? I was more interested in the French fries and after in the grill. Yeah, but Matt can probably speak to that a little more. But you know, I remember back then. So I'm dating myself here, but that was what 26 years ago. Oh my god. Like, no, you know, none of my friends really played back then.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't really have many people to play with, as I recall, and I would like beg my father and mother to take me to play. So, you know, seeing now all the people that are playing that maybe back then, you know, they didn't make fun of you or anything, but it was like golf. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, I say it all the time to my friends. I was like, I've been telling you guys for a long time. It's it's cool. Like it's fun. I'm not lying to you.
Yep.
But yeah, I was fortunate. I got into it early. My grandfather was taking me. He used to watch us during the day, and so he'd be like, "Hey, let's go golfing." And so I'd load up in his car. We'd go. I was probably 9 years old. He'd basically be sneaking me onto the golf course up at Sleepy. At that point, or at that time, it wasn't like the junior scene is now, where they have. Like my daughter's in a junior PGA league and she's 6 years old.
Right.
That's awesome.
Even just at 9, like I was so early to the game playing it. I was still playing baseball and stuff like that, but just to get out there and start learning it. And then that's when I fell in love with it. I mean, I stopped playing everything else after finding golf. So,
But to that point now, it seems to be the go-to game. I mean, for juniors, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, at least from what I see when I'm on property at places, there's kids everywhere.
yeah. And I think,
awesome.
you know,
It's-
I'm glad that golf took that change of like, hey, we don't want to slow everybody down by bringing kids out onto the golf course to, hey, we need to continue to grow the game and let's get all these kids out there. Like I said, they have junior leagues now, there's junior clinics. And these, again, my daughter started going, I think when she was 4, she was going to like junior clinics. I just wanted her to get out there just to see, hey, do you want to try it? Do you like it?
Yeah. See if
you
takes
like
to
it. Yeah, because I know that, hey, maybe in the future, you know, I have 3 girls. Maybe they're all coming out with me and maybe we'll schedule a golf trip and they all get to play with me. That would be amazing.
And not only is it a great game, but I mean, in the age of where people really aren't communicating anymore, right? Outside of text messages and stuff like that.
True.
I mean, I learned how to talk to people.
Yeah.
Through golf.
Yeah, I mean,
I learned how to, you know, hold myself and you know, hold conversations with people, right? Like, because you were around, at least when I was caddying, I mean, you were around guys that were 3-4 times your age, right? So you learned how to talk to these guys, right? I don't call it manners, but you learned how to at least, you know, be polite.
well, you can
right?
tell
Like,
a lot. You get to learn a lot about somebody spending a lot of time with them on the golf course because, again, you're out there for hopefully 4 hours, sometimes 5 hours, but you're with them, you have a whole conversation, you're riding in a cart with them or walking with them. You get to learn a lot about people and you establish a lot of good relationships. I mean, there's so much relationship.
I wouldn't know you.
Exactly. I mean, we would not know each other. Like they brought together so many different outlets and like friendships that you would not know if you hadn't been playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think about that quite a bit too. Like, again, like getting into it late, there's a 30% chunk of me where I'm like, I don't know, my brain goes wacky like this sometimes. I get the addiction to golf because you could always be better. Yeah. But I also think there's just a component where like we live these very insular lives, like you guys are saying, where we're all working office jobs for the most part anymore. Like it's not a blue collar industry or world anymore. Like people just need to be outside more too. There's an itch where it's like subconsciously built into our brains where it's like, I just want to go outside for 4 hours and, you know, I get to golf as well and hang out with my buddies and bullshit with them because otherwise, like, especially as you get older, you start losing touch with your friends where it's like, hey, it's like every Saturday or Sunday, if you could, and you could still fulfill all the responsibilities that you have, but you could get out for an 8:00 tee time. You're home by 11:30 or 12 or whatever it is, and maybe grab lunch with the boys and then you're back with your family and doing whatever you got to do. It's just like, it finds that perfect balance where like it scratches so many itches that as humans we need. that's an interesting part to me, because I just think there's not a lot of other outlets that do it, and also it's the most addicting game in the world, and frustrating.
Yeah, all
and
the above.
fulfilling.
Yeah.
You're gonna get one shot every round. That's gonna.
Yep.
And then
I wanna
it'll
do that-
come
I
and
wanna do
go
that
too.
again.
Yeah, like it comes and goes. There'll be rounds where you're like, I have everything happening for me, and you can go out the following day and be like, yes, I got it.
Yeah.
And it's completely gone.
The boys had to sit me down the other day and explain that to me, because like I played.
It's hard to believe you can regress so
I know.
much.
I'm like, I had 3 rounds in a row where like I'm like, okay, like I'm starting to see strides. Like I'm actually gonna shoot in the 90s this year, and like then you go out literally 24 hours later and play the absolute worst golf I've ever played.
Yeah.
And they're like, Corey, you got to take a step back. Like golf isn't linear. It's peaks and valleys. Like you're gonna play great 3 times, then you're gonna have something horrible. And I'm like in my head, it was like I should just get 1% better every time I play, and just slowly make strides. Like just get the reps in.
And there may be times when you're hitting it bad, but you are actually getting better. You know what I mean? It's just so maybe you hit it bad, but you have to chip. So now like maybe your chipping is going to get a little bit better now. But yeah, it's crazy because you can, and even look at like the best players in the world, it happens to them too. It's not just the random people. It's
Absolutely.
That's why it's that's why I think it's the best. It's you never know what you're going to get, and you can just keep working and working, but.
Or you can do what I do and just order a new set of irons every time you need to play back. Which Dalton is feeling these days, shaking his head over there.
It's the clubs. It's usually the clubs.
Yeah, just blame the clubs.
It's but I love how much of an equalizer it is. Like it doesn't matter what you look like, how tall you are, how muscular you are, how fast you're, nothing.
Yeah.
It's a purely skill game for the most part. Obviously, having some athleticism and
Sure.
torque and twitch helps in certain scenarios, and the feel around the greens that comes with some athleticism.
Yeah.
But like if you aren't a super athletic person and you play long enough, you'll be better than somebody who's athletic who maybe played for half the time you've been golfing or whatever. So I like that part.
I have friends that were baseball players and football players, and then we take them out on the golf course, and it just like even if you look at a pro athlete, like watch one of them try to swing a golf club, it looks like painful.
Yeah. It looks like they've never done an athletic thing in their life.
It really balances. Like you can take Aaron Judge and give him a golf club and be like, how is this the person? Like,
Right. It's a unique movement. It is, for sure. But it's all going to be up here.
No doubt.
Yeah. The best players, at least we play with, are just mentally strong. Guys that just know they're going to play good. Confidence is a big thing. I played with guys that come off as cocky, but they're not. They're confident, and you have to be to play good.
Yeah.
And a lot
You
of
got to believe in yourself.
It's a good mindset
You're the
going into
only
the
one.
round.
You're the one that has to hit the shot. So if you're not thinking I could do this, it's not going to go well.
No, definitely not. But yeah. How about your favorite course that you played?
You literally read my mind. No, that's
I
exactly.
just took over the podcast.
No, host. I will. Listen, it's a hell of a lot easier being on that side than
Jim
hosting
Mance.
and making sure you hit all the topics. I will take that every time.
I mean, I think Oakmont's going to be my favorite, no doubt. Again, we talked about the history of it, the layout, the course itself. Other properties that I played, I mean, I think I took a trip out to Bandon last year out in Oregon. It's awesome. I mean, we talk about getting together with your friends and that. We had 16 guys from my college that all got together from all over the country. And we all flew out, met up there, and got to play for 4 days of just mixing.
Put some of those pictures up potentially.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
layer
you'll start to
those
see
in.
some band and stuff. But I mean, it's I played Pacific Dunes out there where you're just on the Oregon coastline the entire time. I mean, it's like you're looking at amazing fairways, and then just turn your head to the side and you see just ocean forever.
So cool.
It's awesome to be able to blend that. Like you're walking on the coastline. It's pretty
It's
pretty cool. Like if you can hit a ball into the ocean like errantly, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's never a bad thing, right?
That's one of the things your cousin Robbie Pryle, previous guest of the podcast, he, like before I started golfing, he used to say that to me all the time because I was getting into the photography and everything. He's like, man, you should just start golfing. He's like, because it's like some of the prettiest scenery in the world. And I'm like, I'm going out there. Like I was literally thinking as you were talking, I'm like, I was just talking to my wife. Like we were talking about maybe doing the Pacific Northwest and just doing like a hiking trip or whatever. And it's like, you could do all that and like get all that scenery and golf.
Pop a little golf.
Yeah, it's like best of both worlds. So that's a nice byproduct of just
Absolutely.
golfing and traveling to different courses.
And again, we talked about the human aspect of it. There's nothing like getting together for like, we get a guys trip together. Even when we go out to, we did the dormy thing, just getting together, staying there, having, just a.
It's the best. It is. Outside of family time.
Yeah.
It's, meaningful experiences. We can making memories. You know what I mean? Like, I tell him all the time, like, I want to go, if I'm getting away from my family and if I'm getting away from work, I want it to be something that we're going to remember. Right.
Yeah.
And I think every trip here over the last 5 to 6 years.
Well, we have undoubtedly laughs that we'll remember for a very long time. I mean, there's one-liners that come out that will stick forever.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't mean to copy, but my favorite course, Oakmont's number one, but obviously it lies out in the Pacific Northwest too, to Chambers Bay.
Here we go.
I was on a trip to Bandon. We drove down to Philly the night before. We were flying out the next morning, and our flight got canceled. Getting into Oregon, that bend area of Oregon is really tough. I think they've updated some flights.
There's one gate.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. So you fly, like everybody on the plane is going there for the specific reason of playing that
awesome.
golf course. Yeah. But it's cool. I mean, you're talking about for the community itself. Like that's a old fishing kind of rundown place, but it has been infused with this golf course. I mean, the place is bustling with people all over the place. Like we stayed in downtown Bend and got to see all the the local community, to meet all the people and stuff like that. But it's constantly, that place is booked out.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier when you guys were talking about like young guys coming in or more females playing golf. Like a rising tide raises all ships. Like that's like one of the whole like core principles of like the Locals Only project. But okay, so like you pay a price maybe for a small time, but that might mean 5 years from now 2 more golf courses open. Yeah. Like if the demand is there, it will usually be met with supply on one end or another. So it's like 100%. Now you get more courses to play, you get more options. So as long as you're willing to work through some of that stuff and like swallow your pride or whatever it is, like your ego, it's like, all right, there's some 14-year-olds out dicking around in front of me. But like also if that means there's a new course 5 years down the road, like see the bigger picture. And it's good for golf in general, as you guys were saying earlier. Yeah,
100%. And I think if we get into a podcast here or what that's going to help. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to highlight some local golf courses, and really get the word out about these places, right? Where, maybe a local kid that doesn't have a place to play, maybe where he can go and play. Yeah. Right. Highlight some of those things. Maybe highlight some local driving ranges, highlight some local tournaments that are going on to get the word out about that too. Right. Yep. And then we can also show, some of these places that we get to go to, but like Corey just said, bring this local area up a little bit too, from a golf standpoint.
Yeah, I think one of the coolest opportunities out there too is like what you guys were doing up at Wemberly in the simulator, like doing a league like that, something, because golf is expensive to an extent where like not everybody has access to it still, or like you don't, it's come down. Like I think the bar's been lowered. Like you don't need to be a country club kid anymore or like have rich parents to golf, but you do need to have a certain level of income or support from a family if you're at a young age, where it's like, hey, like down the road, if you get a simulator league going again somewhere, and you get to bring in some kids who might not be afforded those opportunities, and they get that itch at an early age, and then next thing you know, they're working at the simulator and paying for their rounds for free that way, or whatever it is. I think there's tons of cool opportunities that could come from it. For sure. And to your point earlier as well, like lifting the local scene and making it more of a community feel, where there's so many people golfing. There's such a boom in this area, and everywhere for that matter. But like, how could you make it more community oriented, where it's like, instead of a league at Panorama, now there's a league that covers a bunch of different areas. Correct. And like, even if you're only competing virtually, eventually maybe for the championship round, you have people coming up from Berwick to play people from Scott Township.
Yeah.
There's so many different avenues now, leveraging technology that you could go from the live streams to competing virtually and then eventually in person and maybe have a tournament. There again, like we're just spitballing here, but there's so
really
many
any
different
direction.
ways you could go.
Absolutely.
It's cool.
I mean, if these courses charged like you were talking about, like I may have never gotten into the game because
true.
My mother used to drop me off at Shadowbrook and be like, all right, I'll pick you up in 8 hours.
Yeah, like I would
so that was too expensive then. I may have never even gotten into the game. My mother may have said, you know what, we're not doing this. Like, so there's definitely kids out there that are, listen, if they're in a situation where they can't afford to play, right? Like they may never get into the game, which is, to me, is like a tragedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think everybody should have the ability to play when they want, right? Potentially not the course they want to play, but there should always be a spot for them to go play, to go practice, right?
Yeah, and honestly, when you start, it doesn't matter what course you're playing anyway. Like, put me anywhere because I know I'm gonna.
You're gonna have more fun too.
Right, I just need more swings.
Yep,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate. We had the Scranton Muni when it was open, but they used to charge us like $7 and just be like, you guys can walk and just go as many holes. We'd be playing 36, 54 holes in a day. My parents would drop me off in the morning and literally would pick me up at the gate at the bottom of the driveway because they would be closed up and I would be up there putting and I'd walk down and be like, and they got out of work, they'd be picking me up ready to go. But again, had that been, am I getting charged for every one of these rounds? That would have been a different story.
Yeah.
There was a great program that we were a part of when I was at Wemberly, the kids LPGA. If you were a member of that LPGA, it was boys and girls. They could get dropped off at the course. All they had to do was sign a sheet, and they would go out and be able to play for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's what we need more of.
And then they would have they had a little tour too, so it went around to the local 9-hole courses. And we'd have 40 or 50 kids show up. We'd shut the course down.
Yeah.
And I loved doing it. I really did. It was awesome because they'd go out and they'd walk, they'd carry their bag, which is cool. When I play with Lucy, at least I make her carry her bag. I mean, to me, it's just, I don't want her getting used to, riding around in the car and being like, so she carries her bag. It's, I think it's a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Into the game.
For sure.
So, I mean, you just saw Max Homa.
Sure.
If you saw that, he was trying to qualify for the Open.
This is like a PGA Tour winner, like he's won on the PGA Tour. He just played in the Masters, but he was not exempt into the U.S. Open. He wasn't in the top 60 in the world. Right. So you can, and that's the cool thing about like the U.S. Open too, is anybody can go and try and like it's an open. You register. You have to have a certain handicap to get in.
Did a teenager make it this year?
Yeah, it's a 17-year-old. Yeah. I mean, he's a sophomore in high school.
Crazy.
That's the coolest part about it. I mean, there was a guy. He's a dentist, and he used to be a caddy at Oakmont, and now he's coming back to play. So, like, to be able to have that opportunity to get into like a major championship is
right. But Homa didn't have a caddy and carried his bag for 36 holes.
Really?
Yeah. So you have a guy who is a former PGA Tour winner trying to get into it, competing against some of these other guys, and he's carrying his own bag.
That's awesome.
He missed it by one.
Yeah, he probably would have made it. If he had a caddy, he probably would have made it. Even just to be like, hey, do you think this break's right or left? Or I think it's straight when you're putting. Like I could find one shot in 36 holes.
That was very cool to see. Because that goes back to the roots. I used to love carrying my bag. I still do. I mean, we'll go out and play at Scranton on, golden hour rounds, and we're lugging our bags.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is. It just feels right. To me, like
you got your tools with you.
Yeah, it's how it was meant to be played. So
you did. There is an element. I always thought that there's an element of like you feel removed from the course or the experience sometimes when they're just on the cart the whole time. It is weird.
Walking in my mind is awesome. Like it is my favorite thing to do. I mean, yes, is it a little taxing afterwards? Yeah, it could be. But you are just so much more connected to it because you see the whole, like you're walking the fairways. You can feel the undulations. You can see what is the green doing prior to walking up there. You have a better idea of everything
you
else.
To your ball, you got to compose yourself a little bit, right? I mean, at least I do. A couple deep breaths.
Get your breath.
But you got to compose yourself a little bit. And so mentally, you're more engaged in the shot. right?
Yeah.
In the golf cart, you're flying from your shot to your partner shot. You got probably a drink with you. Maybe there's music going, so you're not as
Pick a
engaged.
laser, get it and go.
Correct. I think when you're walking, you have to be. It forces you to be more engaged in the game, in the shot, in the round, right? So
Yeah, it slows things down a touch,
Yeah.
which is nice.
and there's a time and a place for both.
Yeah, because sometimes the slowing down could hurt you because more time to think about that last shot. But sometimes it does like ground you a little bit more in everything that's going on.
Yeah, I mean the lasers help now. They're good and bad. But I think back to like when we were playing high school golf and stuff like that before the lasers came out. Like we're carrying our bags, and we would literally have to try to find the 150-yard marker or 200-yard marker, and then step to like running around. Where's the marker? Where's the marker? And you're trying to step them off, and then you got to hit the shot. But like it did take a little bit more time because you got to pace off an extra 20 some yards here or there to try to figure it out. But it was it was cool.
Absolutely.
Nick, I have to ask. So yesterday I told you I ended up basically surrounded by your whole family, but your uncle Denny played around with us, and I told him that we were doing a pod this morning, and he said you have an Arnold Palmer story.
Yeah, so I actually went to, it's called the Golf Academy of America. After I went to college for a year, played college golf, and then I was like, all right, I don't know what I'm going to do here. So I went down to Myrtle Beach, enrolled in a golf academy to get like a golf management degree, maybe to be like a head pro or something like that. But while I was down there, it's called Monday After the Masters. Basically, it's Hootie and the Blowfish runs a event where they have all these celebrities come in. It's like a fundraising thing, but they do it every Monday following the Masters. So the year I went, we volunteered as like being at the golf academy. So I pick out a number, and it says 1A. So I'm like, all right, well, who's 1A? And I go over, and it's Arnold Palmer. And it's the only time that he ever played in the event. And so it was like I was losing my mind. I didn't know what to do.
Crazy.
Like I'm like, I'm gonna be with the king of golf for the next 5 hours. Like I had no camera on me. I have like 3 pictures of me being there with him, and it was all taken by Hootie's staff or whatever. But yeah, essentially just I carried the sign, rode on the back of the cart with them and stuff like that. And then we got to the 18th hole, and it was Arnold Palmer and Mark Bryan, who is a guitarist for Hootie and the Blowfish. So he's like, you got to hit a shot. So I was like, all right. So he gives me his club. I have like the caddy bib on and stuff like that. So I throw the numbers behind me, and I step up, and I'm like,
Stop it.
The fairway's lined with people because they're all waiting to see Arnold Palmer. He's never played in this event before. So there's like water to the left, like 4 people to the right. And I step up, and I laced a drive. Like, I will never forget the feeling of that coming off the face. And I turn around, and Arnold Palmer's like, great swing. And I just, like, melted. At that point, I'm just, like, standing there being like, how am I supposed to come back from this? Yeah. Talking about peaking in life, that might have been that might have been it. But it was cool. I mean, I got to go, like, I'm walking with them. And
that's so cool.
So, yeah, that was and now my daughter's named Palmer. So
that's awesome.
That follows that.
Birdie on 16 at the Mont is peaking too.
That's few and far between. That's
par 3 out there, and I mean just an absolutely brutal par 3.
Is that a long one?
Yeah,
it's gonna play like 240 probably.
250 in the Open. We played it from probably 230ish.
Yeah,
and the pin was miserable. Back right, hard as could be, and he hit a hybrid, cut a hybrid in there to 25 feet.
It was a good miss. I blocked it a little bit.
Hear that?
No, it was. And we talk about making birdies out there like it's like gold. Like you can't believe that you're making a birdie, but to do it with the stands up and like now again, like when I watch that, I want to see what those guys are going to do there because I guarantee you can trade. I've also made 7s on that hole, so I mean, you can make whatever you want on that hole. But it was cool just to get.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Just to get some birdies. So
hell of an experience down there for you guys because you were saying before we started the pod, like that's the first and last, or not, maybe not the first, maybe not the last time, but you never thought somebody would say just make sure you don't hit the TV stands.
It was
or
a cool
control
thing,
centers or whatever it is.
So when I'm standing there in the caddy, he's trying to tell me where I want to land this ball, and he's standing, and he's like, you want to start it right at the TV tower. And I'm like, I have been waiting my whole life to hear that. It might be the only time that I'll ever hear it, but it was cool to hear it once.
Hey, you're at the dance anyway. Yeah. That's wild. That's That's something.
That's a lot of fun. That's one that we'll remember for a while. So the next one is what, 2030? 2033.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but it's cool. So now Oakmont is part of the anchor rotation. So they're going to have some type of an event every 8 to 10 years.
Right.
I think there's a U.S. Women's Open coming there too.
Yeah.
It's cool.
It is very cool. Yeah.
Let's wrap it up with two last fun ones. So not necessarily. So we already hit like your favorite courses. Let's do just favorite holes anywhere you've ever played. Oh, also, shit, I forgot. I wanted to ask, what's the best you guys ever shot at Oakmont?
Oh God.
If you,
I shot 74 last year, and that was my best. I mean, that was.
goddamn,
There might have been a few gimmies in there.
He's played really. I've seen him play really well out there. He's a good player. Nick's fun to watch.
It's just fair. I mean, if you're hitting fairways, then it's not overly long.
Yeah.
From where we play, right?
From where we play, yeah. I mean, from the back tees, it's going to be long. Like
But he's played well out there. I've seen him play really well. Like awestruck.
that's great. Yeah.
And there's
that's
other
insane.
times when I literally I didn't hit a fairway on the front nine, and I was in every fairway bunker, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do from here? But again, it's such a fine line. Like you can miss it by 5 yards and not have a play into the green.
Around without picking up, so I don't know if I have a score to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, there's some leeways in there. A couple gentlemen's doubles.
Fair enough.
I'm hitting 6 from the green.
Hardest-
That's
I have to think I broke an 80 once. So
Yeah,
I'll,
Hardest
would say
course on
definitely
earth.
did.
That's
I'll put that as
pretty
a,
damn good.
as a win.
Pretty
Yeah.
damn good.
Favorite
Yeah, no, that
hole?
was
Yeah, let's go favorite hole though. That's a Mike Casey question. I put it out to the boys this morning. I'm like, if you guys have anything you want me to ask, fire away.
So there's a really cool hole. I would say, I don't know if it would be my favorite, but I think it's one of the coolest holes that I've played. And it's at Kings North, which is down in Myrtle Beach. They have basically an island fairway. So it's a par 5, and you can either play all the way around. It's called the Gambler.
That's
So
cool.
you can play all the way around the hole, and it just makes it a lot longer.
yeah.
Or you can try to hit the island fairway, which leaves you like an iron shot into the par 5, which but you got to place that shot. So if you miss the shot, obviously you're hitting out of the water and you're hitting it again. So there's cool, like when you get to that hole, depending on what are you at in your round, and are you going to keep trying to press it, or are you just going to play safe and play it all the way around the edge? So I think that's like
That's neat.
a cool hole that I haven't really seen designed like that really anywhere.
I'll go favorite course, favorite hole. I didn't get to go favorite course. Favorite course is a place called Fisher's Island, up off of Long Island. It's an incredible. It was top 10 in the world right now, I think. Right, Fisher.
Yeah.
Right. It's you have to take a ferry out to the course. So you have to take a ferry out to the island. So everybody on the ferry's got their clubs. They're going out.
It's cool.
It's like an hour ferry ride out to the course, and then it's a Seth Rayner. Rayner's my favorite designer personally. So it's got all the elements of a Rayner. He's got very unique green setups. Whatever you want to call it. He's the king of the Redan, the Biarritz, all that. So there's a hole there. I believe it's number 4. I could have gotten that wrong, but it's the punch bowl. Mm-hmm. We have a good picture of it too. So the green itself, it looks like a giant bowl. So the green slowly comes up from the edges and goes all the way up into the fringe. It's shaven down. So you could literally land it anywhere inside of there, and it's going to funnel back into the middle. This particular hole, though, you hit out to the fairway. When you look to your right, it's just the Atlantic Ocean.
Really?
So you're hitting down into the punch bowl, and there's an American flag behind the punch bowl. And the scale of this thing is unbelievable. I have a picture of my buddy, and he just looks like an ant.
Really? I was literally just about to ask. I'm like, from the way you're describing it, I bet it's hard to capture on film or camera. But with somebody there, I guess you would.
It was
get
cool.
It. You need the
I mean,
perspective.
he's like on all fours, crawling up the side of this thing,
That's
looking
cool.
for his ball. But it's an incredible golf hole, and that's I think if I'm remembering one someday, that's going to be it.
So favorite hole and favorite course.
Yeah, I'll never be back there.
That's cool.
I can firmly say I'll never be back there. That was a once in a lifetime lucky invite.
Yeah.
I will
Nice.
never be back. So yeah,
That's
definitely.
awesome.
Yeah. So
I like that. I gotta see some pictures of those.
Yeah, we will
check
put those
those
up
out.
for sure.
All right, and then closing tradition that I don't always remember to do, but I like to just like your favorite local spot in the area in the vein of the podcast. Like just it could be course, restaurant, just a shout out you want to give to a mechanic, anybody, anything.
Or over the last years when I was at Wemberly, we had a pretty good tradition of going down to McGrath's.
Oh yeah.
And getting wings and drinks with everybody from the course. So when I think of local golf, for me at least, obviously there's the courses, but we would play, have a great time, and then we would run down to McGrath's and get wings and drinks, and we'd stay there for a couple hours. So I can give a little shout out to McGrath's.
McGrath's in Dalton.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, my days are probably a little bit more crowded now with kids. So I spend a lot of my time at like the local fields and stuff recently. So it's like softball and t-ball games. But local spots, I mean, we always go. I feel like most Fridays we're getting pizza from Andy's. So I'm going to give them a good shout out. I love Andy's Pizza. Yeah.
Staple. Nice. I gotta get
and then that goes back to, you look at we talk about the tradition. Maybe that's why I like it so much, because they have all the cool stuff in there from all the old timers. I love going and sitting in there and looking at that stuff.
Going down from Wemberley one night after work, and they have that case when you walk in on the left.
Yeah,
and there's a Wemberley scorecard in there.
There we go.
Is there?
Take a look next time you're there.
Oh shit!
Look in that case when you walk into Andy's on the left. There's a Wemberley scorecard in there, and it's got to be from. It has to be from the early 70s, late 60s.
That's cool.
It's incredible. I mean, Lucy was like, "Is that?" I'm like, "It is." Oh my god! Like, this is amazing.
It's awesome. So there's a lot of gems in there.
Yeah.
It's hard to even catch them all because
I feel like every time you go in there, you find something new. Like you walk into the back bar area, and then you see like friends' dads, or what I mean. You see familiar names that you know. I think it's pretty cool to see all that stuff.
Andy's is undoubtedly a top fiver in the area and just an absolute staple. And I just like, for me, that's Friday night football. Like, you either walk to the game and you had it before at the house, like after school, before the game, or you're going there after the game to get a try.
Yeah, I mean, that was always a hangout of let's go hang out there. Yeah. It's a cool place.
It's a good spot.
Probably one of the only places left with a true jukebox too.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, in the back there.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we got this in. Awesome to hear these stories.
Yeah. And thanks for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate you having us out.
Yeah. Tons of more good stuff to come. I'm excited to hear how this trip is for you guys too.
And then again, we'll be posting more pictures. So check out our Instagram. It's at SBGP18.
Yeah.
What does SBGP stand for?
Anything you really.
So it's kind of an evolving name. We kind of landed on those letters. I mean, the GP stands for golf picks, really, or golf photography.
Nice.
One of our guys we play with all the time.
Variable.
Shooting birds.
Cool.
So he's known as the bird shooter, actually.
Yeah.
I like it.
Shooting birds, golf photography. Could mean a couple other things, though. We'll
I like
that
it.
for another
Play
day.
with it.
Yeah. They evolve.
TBD.
Yeah, they evolve.
Good deal. All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gore.
Appreciate it.